Hey guys, welcome to the Schmeeting podcast. Welcome back again. And we have a very special guest, Luca, who is an entrepreneur, founder of Rise, but also a Twitter celebrity. So yeah, welcome Luca, and thanks for coming over today.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate you being here with me.
Yeah, of course. And also, this is my first in-person podcast, and I had to be with someone special. So yeah, is this your first in-person podcast as well? Or?
Yeah, I did one more with my boys, Ben Bader and Harry Swales, but that was on Zoom.
Okay.
It's a different vibe to be
this is obviously better. We're in a
person.
great setting right now, so in LA. Shout out LA. And okay, so to get started, please give the listeners like a brief description of who you are and also like what gets you out of bed every morning.
Okay, I'll do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So I'm Luca, I'm 22, I'm originally from Brooklyn. I go to NYU and I run Rise, which is a caffeine vape company, and then I also run The Collective, which is a Discord that helps people go viral on TikTok and make money with e-commerce.
Awesome. How do you get the idea for Rise, and what exactly are the products that you sell on Rise?
Yeah, so it actually wasn't even me, it was my co-founder. So we were all in the same frat. It was me and two of my friends. He was studying in the library, and then he was talking to a girl and asked her for her nick, as you do. And she handed it to him, and she's like, "Oh, but just be warned, it's a caffeine."
Yeah.
So that kind of blew his mind, and then he did some research online and was like, "Oh shit, this is actually a thing." But all the brands that were doing it, in West Virginia and gas stations. Like, it wasn't for Gen Z, it didn't have good branding, it wasn't on TikTok. So he brought on my friend, who brought on me, and then we kind of, scaled it from there.
How do you first so are you manufacturing like the product on your own, or like where are you getting it from?
Yeah, so we have like manufacturers in China.
Okay.
And then we design everything in, New York or LA or wherever I am.
And how involved were you like initially in like the actual like manufacturing and design, and how like are you involved right now? Because obviously I'm guessing that it's a bit different. Like when the business is more scaled off, you're probably a bit more hands off, and you're trying to take care of more of the logistics and operations and like the human resources side of it, and like how different is it from like how you initially started off?
Yeah, I mean, like now I'm still, my co-founder's actually left for other jobs, so I'm basically the only full-time employee. So I have a bunch of contractors, but it's still me kind of doing everything. So I'm still ordering directly from suppliers. I'm still designing everything. I still come up with all the flavors myself. Like it's all still me. So it's kind of very similar to when we first started.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't do customer service anymore.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I generally do a bunch of things.
Dude, that's awesome. Are you like working like how many hours? So you're also a college student, for those who don't know, and he's running this business. So how do you like balance your time?
Oh, I don't. My grades just fell off a cliff, bro. Like I realized like first 2 years you grind it out, you get a good GPA, and then you can kind of slack off. And then last 2 years it's just been building Rise. Yeah. So my GPA kind of went up when I was grinding, and then I just have not really cared.
I mean, does your GPA even matter anymore? I guess it doesn't, because like
I actually wanted to drop out, but my parents didn't want me to.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of staying in for them, because I'm like, they want me to get the degree.
Yeah, for sure.
They help me a lot. So
we're actually going to talk more about that. I was curious about like getting your like opinion more about like the entrepreneurship and like the courses that are taught in the university, because that's like a whole different topic. But we'll get into that as well. So okay, so you said most of your co-founders like kind of left, like to start their other jobs. So are you like the only like, I guess, the executive member now, part of the team that's like CEO, or do you have you hired someone else now, more I guess a seasoned COO, CTO, etc.?
Yeah, I'm the only CEO. I don't have any executive board or anything. I have a bunch of contractors.
Okay.
And just like my friends that I work with, but I'm basically the only like executive. I don't even think of myself as a CEO. Like,
he's more like a founder and just
I'm just kind of running the company.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, dude. I think like one thing is interesting is because like for me as well, whenever I think of like ideas that I want to like start, it's usually like more geared towards like software, or like just like more like a B2C kind of company, and you're doing D2C, so you're like actually have a physical product that you're selling. I think that's the like most difficult thing, because it involves so much more operations and like manufacturing and stuff. So like how do you get over that block initially? Like how do you like figure out what to do? Like I think that's the hardest part, like getting started. Like how do you get started like with the Rise?
Yeah, I think D2C, a lot of people think that. Like they ask me like, oh, how do you make a physical product? Because everyone knows you like code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But for this, it's really easy. Like you just go on Alibaba or AliExpress. You hit up a bunch of different manufacturers. They usually have like a base level of like the product. So it'd be like the vape itself. Yeah. And then we did the branding, the logo, the ingredients, all of that. But they kind of handled all of that for us. So it's a lot easier than you think. Like you can really start a brand with I mean, less than $1,000 really.
Yeah.
If you just do a lot of the work.
If you do a lot of the work, I think that's the important thing.
You have to grind in the beginning, but you don't have to put a ton of money into it.
I think especially like a lot of people feel like it, especially like people our age. Like, you know, I also just graduated, and I think a lot of people think like being like a founder, being an entrepreneur is more about the glamour and making the money. But I think like they forget like the earliest days, the first few years, like the founder literally has to do everything, like all the boring work, like the filing and documentation, and actually even building the product, getting involved in everything. It's not just like meetings and traveling around. And I think like that's pretty cool. You're like super young, you're doing it. How do you communicate with these people? Like, are you the one who's communicating with your manufacturers in these different countries, or do you have like team members that sort of?
Yeah, we just use WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, okay.
Yeah. Although low-key, if you can speak Chinese,
yeah.
I think they usually speak like Mandarin.
Yeah.
My co-founder's mom actually got on the phone with them, and like literally for an hour she's speaking Mandarin, and we got a better rate because of it. Because they don't really fuck with the English, funny. But if you speak Mandarin to them, it's like kind of bargain in a similar way.
Yeah.
They'll like respect that and give you a better price.
And how exactly, okay, let's get into more like how you're distributing it, because I think that's the most interesting thing, and like the listeners can find that like, you know, pretty interesting, is how exactly are you doing the distribution? Because I believe you're not actually like doing a lot of paid marketing. You have a really unique strategy of how you're distributing it.
So we don't run paid ads at all. It's entirely through TikTok. Just got like an army of creators basically that just make TikToks every day on a bunch of different accounts. And then some of those go viral, some of them don't, but in the aggregate, you know, you get enough views, people go to your website, and that's been basically our main strategy for the last like 6 months.
So you have a Discord collective. Like, tell me more about that. I think that's like the most exciting thing about like that. Well, obviously the brand and the company is pretty cool, but I just think like I haven't seen a lot of people do it. I think it's kind of on the rise. Like I've been seeing some people do it, but like I think this thing about like having a Discord community and like helping using them to like promote your product. Like, tell us more about the collective.
Yeah, so this was something that I started with two of my friends, Jimmy and Cal. I'm actually living with Jimmy next month, which is going to be fun. All three of us were doing organic TikTok. Like Jimmy had a brand that he blew up to 1 million followers. Cal has had multiple 6-figure brands. I'm doing Rise, no paid ads. So we're like, we all know what we're doing with organic TikTok. There's clearly a lot of demand. And I've always been interested in communities. Like I'm here, you know, living with 30 people in this mansion. Like I love being around people. And especially like helping people, because I always got people in my DMs, and they did as well, about like, how do I start a store? How do I do this and that? And I was like, what if we put it all together where there's as much resources, basically everything we know, put it in a Discord, and then we can do calls together. We can answer people's questions in like a format versus people just, you know, randomly hitting you up. Yeah. You can't really help them that much.
So what exactly are the value they're bringing to you? Are they just like helping you like promote the thing through TikTok and stuff? Or?
No, so Rise and the collective are separate.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not promoting Rise at all.
Okay.
I've hired some people from the collective who, you know, basically they start from nothing. We teach them how to go viral. Then they go out, they grind, they do the work. Then they kind of prove themselves, run their own brand, go viral a couple times, and then, you know, kind of come to me and they can work for Rise. So it's kind of a good cycle where you can take people who've never made money online. They make their first money, then they start working for me, some of my friends, and some of these dudes have scaled to like $10K a month in a couple months.
Okay, so that's interesting. I thought the collective and the Rise were similar things and kind of like hand in hand. So how are you allocating time? Like, is Rise a priority or the collective your priority? Or?
I think Rise is definitely a priority because the more cool shit I do with Rise, they can talk about it in the collective. Yeah. Whereas with the collective, it's kind of based on what I'm doing. Yeah. So anything we discover, anything we fail at, any new strategies, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell people in the collective, and then we all kind of grow together. Yeah. But Rise is like the main focus. Yeah.
And how many members are there in your collective? Around like 4K almost now?
Yeah, we have like 4,000 people.
That's super impressive. And are you finding these people like, are they like joining your thing through like knowing that you run Rise and then, you know, like they're coming to your TikTok, Twitter or something? Or like, do you have a different means of like getting people in there?
It's all through Twitter. It's me, Cal, and Jimmy's Twitter. I tweet about Rise, organic TikTok, e-commerce, and then people just like organically join every day.
Dude, that's super awesome. And so you have collective 3 people, and Rise, you said you're the main CEO, and then you have these other people working around. Are you going to expand the team, raise investment? Like, how's it looking right now? What point are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a bunch of VCs. Like, we're in LA. There were some who said they were interested, but ultimately, I kind of want to keep more control of the company. And I think I can bootstrap it for longer. We might raise some money, even from some people here, which might be interesting. But I think we'll stay bootstrapped and then just try and grow there. And then I do need to bring on some employees because I am doing everything myself right now. and eventually a full executive team. But right now we're only doing, 1-2 mil a year. I think we could probably keep with the current stack. Once you get to the 5-10 million plus, then you really need a bunch of employees, but we don't want to hire too quickly.
You said so it looks like you're doing a lot of your work on your, the thing is like, I mean, you've been running it now for almost like 18 months, right?
Yeah.
Like you must have obviously by now known like what you're good at, what you like, what like probably a weekend, and probably you could hire someone to like do it. So what do you think like I think the biggest strength for you obviously would be that like you have a lot of energy, you're willing to fail, you have like probably, well, I wouldn't say you have time because you're a college student as well, but I think you have time to recover because you're like still energy, the world still hasn't bogged you down, and you still got all that like excitement in you. So I think like that's what I think is usually like the strength for like a guy who's young and who's starting a company. But like what do you think is like you wish like there was just someone else like who could help you with that? Like what is like the immediate help you need right now?
I think on like the operations side, like I get so many random emails, messages, DMs with like things that I have to deal with. I'd rather deal with like the 2-3 main projects where I'm like, I know we have to launch on Amazon or get into these distributors or like do this paid marketing campaign or this, and like that takes my focus versus pay this person, deal with this thing, check on this thing. Like some person to do on the operations side would be probably the next one that I would hire for.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, and how much are you I mean, if you're not allowed to say, that's fine, but how much are you doing in sales, and like how fast are you growing right now?
Oh no, I say it on Twitter all the time.
Okay.
I think I tweeted about that today.
Yeah.
So we do like 150K a month.
Okay.
We've been doing that for the last 2 months because I've been dealing with some other stuff.
Yeah.
And we scaled super quick. We went from like 10K to 150K in like 3-4 months, but hired way too many people, so I had to kind of bring that down. Now we stabilized. And then we'll probably try and scale back up to like 250, 300K over the next couple months.
Okay, so you're still growing. One quick question is, has this like the global supply chain issue like affected your company as well?
Yeah, I mean, like we had a supplier shut down for like 3 weeks because of COVID. Like they had random outbreaks in China. There were a lot of like shipping costs that were like way higher. There's a lot on like the cost of goods sold side. And then also shipping was like, we say 3 to 4 day shipping, and it was. But then there would be COVID delays and things would get lost for 2 weeks, and there were a lot of customer support issues. But I mean, now we're coming out of COVID, there isn't as much. Yeah. But certainly like just getting shit from China to the US was a lot harder, and it was a lot more expensive than even getting anything to people. Like any of the shipping stuff, that all kind of got messed up.
Awesome. I've actually like been reading that like a lot of companies have been kind of using that as an excuse to sort of like continue saying that it's a supply chain issue, but they're just like not manufacturing as much. And like, I mean, obviously you guys aren't doing that because you continue growing, but I'm just saying like, I think a lot of companies that I like what I've been seeing have been doing that. So like,
I mean, maybe on like the raw material isn't like, there's like silicon chip shortage. So like you can't buy cars. Yeah. Exactly. Like that might be, I mean, that's none of our ingredients. So it's only been on shipping. Yeah. And now like there aren't as many delays. Like it's mostly chill.
So what is your moat? Like, what do you, cause you said there's obviously competitors, right? And I'm guessing like it's, you definitely have someone probably in China or some other countries that are like kind of building a very similar product. Like, how do you like differentiate from them? Are you afraid of that? Is that something you think a lot about?
I think I am the moat.
Yeah.
Like they could copy the brand, right? But they can't copy me. And also like the brand itself, right? Like as it becomes more valuable, like how is Juul different than any other vape? They're not, right? They had a patent when they first started, but now it's like all ubiquitous. But it's just because like you think of Juul and you know it's Juul, right? And then it's also like the management team that like did a good job. Yeah. So yeah, vapes are like, they're all basically the same.
Are you looking into like continue staying within that product? Or are you going to like probably expand, diversify your brand, something else?
No, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you do like caffeine gum or food? And I think the caffeine food space is like, it's been done before. I've been chewing on like caffeine stuff when I was like 8, when I was like skiing. It's like not a very interesting category. I think it's more, can you do like cool shit with vapes? So we'll probably go more down that direction. And expand like those product lines. Then also, you have disposables, but are there different ways of vaping, maybe on the delivery method as well? Yeah. So how happy are you able to like talk to your customers like and see like how they're feeling about the actual like the vape and stuff and like, how happy are they? And I read every review. Okay. Because it comes in my email. And we do there's like, I can read the 1 stars as well. There certainly are some. Yeah. Mostly it's due to like if it breaks or it heats too much or they didn't feel the caffeine. Like It's hard because vapes are very difficult to get right.
Yeah.
All disposables have this problem where some percent of them are going to burn immediately. They can get broken in transit. And then also caffeine. You drink 3 cups of coffee and then you hit a rise, you're going to feel nothing. So like, that's probably the hardest part. But like, we still have overwhelming majority of people seem to love it.
Yeah. We
have a very high repeat purchase rate. Like, a lot of people keep coming back. So I mean, I think overall it is, although I would love to make like, get the product as perfect as it can be. I don't think it's perfect right now. Yeah. But I don't think you can ever like
get there, keep iterating it and keep improving the product.
Keep improving.
I was actually, so how much caffeine is in like one specific vape? How does that work?
40 milligrams.
40 milligrams per like taking in? Like
no, so there's 400 puffs and it's 40 milligrams.
Okay.
So it's like 0.1 micrograms per puff, approximately, depending on how you're ripping it. Okay. So it's a lot lower. Like a cup of coffee is like 80. Yeah. So it's double in the entire thing. Yeah. But because it goes through your lungs, it's much more fast acting. Sure. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty interesting concept. And how much are you allowed to talk about, like how much the unit cost for each like manufacturing it is and how much you're selling it for and stuff, or is that confidential?
Yeah, I mean it costs like $3 and then we sell it for 20. Okay. But you know, we have shipping costs are like literally more expensive than the product. Yeah. And then you have like different marketing expenses. Like the amount of expenses you have in the background is insane. So you might think you're making 100K a month profit, and then after everything you make like 10K. So like e-commerce margins are generally pretty low, even if the gross margins are like 80-90%. Yeah. At the end of the day, like you're really not making that much money.
I want to like step back and like kind of like go more into like big picture view. Is what has been the biggest challenge or like the biggest difficulty you've come across while building Rise, and then also the biggest challenge and like difficulty you've come across while building Collective?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with Rise was all the stuff in the back end, like dealing with school at the same time. If I wanted to raise money, becoming a solo founder, like not the actual business itself. Of course, there's like many difficulties, but it's like I can't focus on marketing if I have to like go to my classes, like stuff like that. Yeah. Or like when I'm coming here, I want to meet all these different people. And then I'm like, oh, do I raise VC money? Do I turn it into this type of company? Do I want to give up control? Like that's the stuff where it's like, damn. So I got to really think about that. That's been more difficult. And then on the TikTok side, like that's obviously a little bit easier. That's more like figure out the strategy, execute on it, iterate on it. But it's not these like big philosophical questions or like challenges that are out of your control. If it's in my control, I'm like, okay, I can grind, I can figure it out. If it's out of my control, it's like, I can't do anything. Yeah. Like those are the ones that suck.
It's kind of like interesting and funny how you're like talking about college classes and then you're also owning like millions in sales. And I guess like, it's kind of.
I don't really go to my classes anymore though, but I have one in like 3 hours from now.
You could probably like teach a professor. I don't know what class it is. Is it like entrepreneurship?
It's an entrepreneurship class.
You should probably teach the class, but so what has been the most difficult part of just running an e-commerce company specifically? So, you know, like if a founder comes to you and says like he wants to get in and build like a tool or something for e-commerce, like clients and, you know, obviously customers as well, what is something that you would talk to them about that you wish someone solves it?
I think the hardest thing is cash flow. Like e-com sucks ass for cash flow because your margins aren't that great. And then even if you are profitable, you have to pay for inventory. There's a lead time on that, which is generally like 2 to 4 weeks. Then you have to ship it another 2 to 4 weeks. Then once you get it, then you start shipping out to people. You have to pay for marketing. So it's like 2.5 months, 3 months before you're actually getting some of that money back. But you have to pay for all of that upfront. So unless you're getting really good payment terms, you have to use a loan or if you take, you know, investment from an investor, and then you're giving up either a lot of interest, like some of the APRs are like 40-50%. And it's very hidden. It seems like it's 2-3%, but it's actually much higher. And then investors, like you're giving away part of your company. So if someone could solve that cash conversion cycle issue, because the suppliers don't want to give you better terms. They don't want to give you net 30. And then, you know, you don't have enough trust with them where it can change and the loan, you're getting fucked from every end.
Do you think that situation improves as like longer you stay and like keep improving? Or?
I know businesses that do like 100 million a year and they have like net 365. They pay a year after their supplier does it. So like if you get to that shit, you're chilling, right? You're literally getting free loans. But in our case, and for the vast majority of companies, if you're doing under like $10 million, like you're just getting fucked.
That's interesting. That is a very difficult thing to solve. I'm not sure like if I think like time is definitely one thing, grinding it out. Like I think that's where a lot of companies fail. There's so many like courses like I see online on like drop shipping and e-commerce. Have you tried any of those? Do you think those are useful or?
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't buy a course until we had done like 250K.
Okay.
So I was like very against it. Like I watched all like CoffeeZilla videos, like guys who were calling out like Ty Lopez, the scams. Especially like there were so many scammers like Kevin David or some shit like that. And even they would say like, all the gurus are scammers. I'm not the scammer. And then they would scam you. So I was very against that. And then once I did, I joined different Discords. I probably spent $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 at this point on courses, mentorships, trainings, Discord. Like I tried a whole bunch of shit. I kind of went crazy once I started buying stuff. And some of them were good, some of them were bad. Like I don't think all courses are scams. It's more so if it's very high priced, it's targeted towards beginners, and like the marketing is all, this will change your life. This is the only course you need.
Saturated marketing.
Lambos, mansions, all that shit, right? But if it's a course where it's like, I will teach you this very specific skill that I have demonstrable knowledge in, and this would be the result, and it's not going to, make you $1 million. That's totally fine. And there are courses that I've taken that even up to like $2,000 that I was like, I made my money back. If you have a business, $2,000, like all I really need to do is like have one thing that increases some percentage, like 10% increase in sales, I made it back 10 times, right? But if you have no business and you're just starting and you don't even have $1,000, then you're probably gonna get fucked, and you're gonna have no value because you can't apply it to a business at all.
So it's more useful to actually like do these courses once you're already in the game rather than like before, right?
Yeah. If you're a complete beginner, I would not spend more than like $100. If that, like you probably don't even need a course. Like start from YouTube, start your own business, and then you're like, okay, I run into this roadblock. I got my first 1,000, but I can't scale. Then maybe you can buy something, right? But too many people, they want to take the shortcut. They're like, I don't want to put in the effort, so the course is going to do the work for you. But it's just fucking YouTube videos. Like it's never going to do the work.
That's actually super interesting because I think not just me, but almost everyone has it. I had it like the other way around. Like before starting, they want to be like, spend time like, oh, I want to like learn everything before. And I think a lot of people just get bogged down, just like, that's the loop they're on. Like they just keep taking courses, keep learning, keep talking about it, like tweeting about it, like, oh, this, that. But like, no one's actually getting the practical thing. But that's an interesting way of looking at like starting it off, and once you hit the roadblock, and then probably like going to the courses. Because I think at that point you have more context as well. You're able to filter out more bullshit as well because you already know how it's working. So it's like it's easier for you to like filter out the bullshit and like actually take in that. That's important. Because
like I think like you're saying, like everyone wants to like do all the research and know everything. As soon as you start, you're gonna realize you learn like 1%, right? Like even now I know basically nothing. And then 5 years from now, I'm going to realize I didn't know shit. Like, it just keeps going.
The more you know, the more you realize.
You just have to start, and then you'll fail a million times, and then that's how you learn.
You rather like spend that time instead of like learning theoretically to actually like put in the work in the business and kind of like go with the flow and learn it.
You learn by doing.
I think that's a really interesting thing. That's got me think, because I've thought about like starting, and I've always thought about like, okay, like damn, I gotta like buy a course first, and like I just always get into that loop, always like learning thing. But I guess like that's interesting. I should like probably get it started once I hit a roadblock, and then
Would you want to start your own business? Would you want to start your own business?
I think like my like the bigger goal for me has always been like starting a business, and I think like it's like one thing I think a lot of people say that, but like I feel like the thing with me is like I just feel like I won't be happy if I'm not doing something like like trying to start my own business or something. But again, like it's just something like personally I feel like I haven't I don't know if I've not met enough people, or like I just was surrounded by so many people that I felt like weren't wanting to start a business, where it just made me think like I was fortunate to have an older brother that's working on a startup. So like since last 3-4 years I've kind of been like, okay, like like reading books, started listening to podcasts. I kind of started my own podcast because I just like talking to cool people like you that are doing cool stuff. And just like someone told me like one thing I always before starting a business was like I need to make it like this really cool tech business, and it has to like disrupt the industry. But there's one person who I actually had a podcast with as well, previous episode, and like he's a biotech entrepreneur, like he's had his own newsletters and stuff, and he's an advisor now. But he told me like it takes the same amount of energy to start like a falafel stand in New York and to start like a rocket company, like the same amount of like energy. So you might as well just get started, because like the delta of like how many people you're affecting, and like this like he almost talks about this equation about like you can either like build a really cool product that's exclusive to a few people, or like build a product that affects, like it's not as like revolutionary but helps a lot of people, right? And at the end of the day, it's like about like making a change in people's lives. So like I think like what I've always been thinking like, oh, I want to do something big, but I think just getting started and like just somehow like changing someone's lives is like the goal for me in the end. Like, so I think like that's something I've learned recently, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, to get back to your question, yeah, like I do want to start a business.
I mean, no, that's valid, but yeah,
no, it's just because like I'm just saying this because this is what like I think, and like I feel like I don't know. I always sometimes think I'm running out of time. Like I'm 22 now, but like I also feel like I'm seeing other people who start like in 30s, 35s, and it's like
most people here, like I'm the youngest one.
Yeah.
Like most people here are mid-20s, 30s. Like I think I was seeing some shit. It's like actually a myth to start when you're younger. Like the most successful entrepreneurs are like 45.
Yeah.
So like you have some experience, you tried some other shit, or even like you start a business, you sell it for a small amount, then you start another one, and then you build up. It's not like fucking Zuckerberg. Your first business is like Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's like incredibly unlikely.
And I think I'm pretty sure like he probably started with some business before as well. That just failed like in probably in high school. Yeah, like businesses that he
projects, random shit that you're doing.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting, and it's cool like seeing you do it, because I think like a lot of people get it, a lot of people have ideas, but I think like the hard part gets like when you have to execute with something like this, like damn, I have to like talk to manufacturers, I have to like keep up, do customer service, I have to like make a website, I have to like think of a product, and like people just kind of like, I think it's the idea doesn't just come like naturally. Like you have to keep working on it, talk to people, talk to potential customers, keep iterating on the product, and then like you finally get somewhere. Like it's not like a one night thing,
Yeah, I mean, I think if they don't like doing that, they just don't like doing any of the shit to run a business. Like then I think most people just like the lifestyle. Like being an entrepreneur is just kind of sexy now, probably because of like fucking Gary Vee or something. Yeah. So now they're like, oh, I want to have the laptop lifestyle, 4-hour work week, and it's like you can have that a couple years in after you've done all the work and you've grinded your face off. Yeah, like even now I'm still fucking grinding. It's like 18 months in. I'll probably still be 5 years from now, 10. Like it never ends. Yeah. And you still have the lifestyle. Like I'm still traveling around in LA, New York, Austin, whatever, but you're like fucking grinding when you get there. Yeah. So like it's a mix of both.
It's like no one's like kind of like grading. It's like you just feel like the chip on your shoulder that you have to do it, right? Like it's something you have started to your baby, and like it's not like your parents or like your professor. Like they're telling you to do your classes, but they're not telling you to like focus on like, hey, like go build your product, go build a rise. Like these customers are not happy, but it's something that's coming innate. And I think like that's what differentiates people, because like being motivated and starting a company for 1 or 2 months is like a lot of people get that like spike of motivation, but like to keep it sustainable and to keep running for like years and months, like despite everything, like that's respect, bro.
You gotta either be really disciplined or just fucking love the game. I have no discipline at all. I just love business. Like I just love the grind. I just love all the thing, talking to people, like whatever. Like I feel like if you don't, it's like the people who are fucking jacked. They don't really have good discipline. They just love working out. It's like it's actually what they look forward to.
Yeah, I think that's true. A lot of like people who are jacked and often go to a lot of raves. Like most of the people I know who are jacked don't have like a pretty like great lifestyle. They all like drink, party and stuff, but like they just like their priority is that they want to get jacked. So they do like move their habits around that, like a point where like they're having the right protein and like enough nutrients and like whatever macronutrients and calories, but like they don't have like the best lifestyle, as we say. Like they're still going to party, they're still going to show their body off, but like they'll do what they have to do to get jacked. And like that's the part. And it's not like they're gonna wake up at 6 a.m. to meditate. Like they're gonna wake up whenever they have to wake up, but they're gonna keep like go and lift weights for like 2-3 hours and get that shit done. But actually, so did you start a business before Rise, or was that like your first like proper business venture?
No, I've started like fucking 8 businesses.
8 businesses. And like any of them operate right now, or like?
No.
Okay.
Like in high school, I was buying and selling like skins in CSGO, and I was like gambling on different sports teams, sneakers, streetwear, clothing, like all that in high school. Then I had drop shipping freshman year. That also failed. I had like a crypto startup that failed, fintech startup that failed, web design agency that failed, software for like hair salons that failed, a CRM that failed, worked with law firms that failed. And then I started Rise, and hopefully it doesn't fail.
When you said fail, like how long did you give it to fail, and when did you realize that it failed? Because I think that's really important for a founder.
We pivoted really quick. Like we realized like basically we did research, user interviews, tried building it, and then like if it didn't work or there was some kink there, we're like, okay, fuck it, shut it down, move on to the next thing.
But how long, like, how do you know, like, what's the period where you're like, okay, users aren't coming in? Because it's always going to take some time, right? Like,
yeah, but it was like, do you have the early traction, and is there like the, people call it like the founder problem fit?
yeah.
Like with the crypto one, we realized we didn't know what we were doing because we needed like PhD level cryptographers and like data scientists, and we had one dude who took like 2 comp sci classes, I can't code, and my friend who did design. So we're like, okay, we literally can't even build this. And then the fintech one, we were like, we're just a worse version of a competitor. So we're like, that doesn't make sense. The web design one, we tried building stuff ourselves rather than using a builder, like Squarespace or something. It took us 3 months to build a fucking website. So we're like, okay, that failed. Like we just screwed the entire, like it was little things where like, okay, a month or 2 in, because I think you don't want to be spending 3 years on a business and you have no traction and then you get nowhere. Like fail quickly and then keep going. Like Rise, once we launched, it took us a week and we went viral and sold out. So like,
tell me, wait, how do you get viral? Like in a week? So you made the website within a week and you started selling products in a week, or?
No, so it took us 6 months from idea to launch. And that was a lot of designing it, logo, LLC, lawyers, figuring out everything, getting like.
So you made it a proper registered company before actually like.
Yeah, I mean, we're selling vapes, bro. I'm not trying to get sued. So yeah, we had a lot of samples, ingredients, manufacturing. I had never done a physical product before, so that was new. So it took 6 months, but then once we had it, we had all the inventory, had the website, pictures, everything, made a TikTok, and then it just kind of like blew up.
So what if at that point it didn't work? Would you just shut it down?
No, I probably would have kept it going. We also invested money in inventory. And like I already got traction from selling in person. I sold the first 100 in like a month in school and in like my mom's hair salon. So that was enough traction that people wanted it. We had enough demand.
You got the validation.
We just need to figure out like, how do we sell this to people?
So that was that your validation technique?
Yeah, kind of. I think it would have been better to validate with just like renders or something. But I mean, we were doing it in person. I didn't know Facebook ads or anything. But I know someone who started a similar company and he did like pictures or renders, and then he sold that to 100 people on Facebook, and then he just refunded them because he didn't actually have the product. And then, 8 weeks later, he actually got the product and then sold it to the people who said they would wait. And that was how he validated it, by seeing, oh, I can actually sell these people.
Yeah, I heard about it. I forgot like what company did it, or I might just be thinking about like, might have been a dream or something. Am I tripping? But there was a company that kind of like did this, like, I don't know, like if it was, I was telling it to someone or someone told me that some company did this. I can't even remember. But it was interesting. It was like they did like Instagram advertisement for like their merch or some product, and they didn't even have it. So it was kind of like a landing page. So they just ran ads, and people would click it. It would take to their website and just be like, oh, like give us your link if you want it. And like a lot of people signed up, and then they're like, okay, like 100 people signed up in a few days. They want this product. Let's start manufacturing it. Or like having an inventory for it.
You can do pre-orders. You can do renders. You can just get emails. You just have a landing page with like pictures, like anything to validate it before. We didn't do that. We just said, fuck it. And I invested all.
I mean, you did in-person validation low key, so.
Yeah, a little bit.
As I said initially, you're also a Twitter celebrity. Where do your inspiration from tweets come? Because you upload quite a few tweets every day, right? Like,
it's a decent amount. I think I'm a niche micro influencer. I don't think I'm a celebrity yet.
I have like 13,000, 14,000 followers. It's a lot.
Crazy shit to me was that you said that like people that you know.
Yeah, so I went to high school in Abu Dhabi for context, and I saw like a couple of people that like followed you, and I'm pretty sure like I've seen that person like and like follow some stuff, and he was my junior actually, so I've seen him like crypto stuff and like post about that stuff. So I was like, okay, yeah, I see this guy, like he's on the grind, and he actually went to university in Portugal or something as well. So it was so random, and that's how your tweet came on my wall first, and I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, good, like my brother follows you as well, and I was like, okay, like damn, like then I saw like, okay, like I think he's probably in launch house or something, and then, so yeah, that's how I found your tweets, and then it just started like before even I followed you, it just started coming on the wall every time, because I guess like it just kind of like Twitter algorithm, so like yeah, and the I saw the tweets and I was like enjoying it, I was like, yeah, let's go. But yeah, where do you like, are these like shower thoughts or like
fucking unhinged thought in my mind? Like when I got here, I made a tweet about like I'm pissing in Paris Hilton's bathroom. Because funny, I was pissing in Paris Hilton's bathroom, and I was like, that's kind of wild. And then Threads, I have like actual ideas where it'll be like kind of similar. Like we did some cool shit with Rise. We did this revenue milestone. We had this failure. I'm like, oh, I should write something about that. And the other tweets are just like random shit.
So do you just get those followers by like consistently tweeting or like?
Yeah, basically. Although I didn't tweet for like 2 weeks, and then your engagement like dies. Okay. But then you have to like tweet again. But the algorithm likes if you're consistent. But I'm not. Like I'll think of 20 tweets in like 20 minutes, and then I won't think of a tweet for like 2 weeks. So like, you kind of have to like space it out. You like posting the drafts, and then like there's a whole strat to it. Okay. But I wish I was like more consistent like every day. Like,
it's great for like a posted brand and like collective as well, because you know you have like the link there, and
it's all through Twitter. Yeah.
It's powerful. Yeah. And so you and the boys, are you like, so I'm guessing you're gonna like take Twitter really like religiously and like keep trying to grow your followers and like hit 100K one day, or like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take it that seriously, because it's kind of like a side thing. It's more like I meet a ton of really cool people. The 2 guys I'm living with next month, all from Twitter. Bunch of employees, friends, investors, like it's all through Twitter. So like, Twitter has fucking changed my life. Next to Rise changing my life. Interesting. But I always want to keep it like not that serious. Like it's just whatever I'm thinking, interacting with people, learning. Like the thing, this guy, when I first started, he had 12K and I had like 100 followers. And he was like, the easiest way to grow on Twitter is just do cool shit off of Twitter and then just talk about it. If you're just on Twitter all day, like you're not doing anything. So like,
unless you're one of those like scammy people who kind of like just.
If you're like stealing people's tweets and shit, or you do platitudes. Like, you know Naval.
I know Naval.
He's the OG. So respect.
I mean,
but the platitudes, well, bro, it's so ass.
But he's done a lot. I think like that's the thing. Like I think he's just done a lot like outside as well, right? Like for example, like
no, Naval is very valid.
Yeah. So like what was it? I think who was the most followed? Like was it Justin who was the most followed Twitter celebrity before Elon Musk? And like Elon Musk was talking about like how like he hasn't even tweeted for ages. Like he hardly tweets and he's still the most followed. So like some people just get followers because they're just like the person, you know, like Justin Bieber just has so many followers because he's just Justin Bieber, like he's not providing value. But like obviously Elon Musk started tweeting and he became like this kind of like a Twitter celebrity, and like people started following him. So like like obviously doing stuff outside of like Twitter helps a lot, like creating validity, and like people want to like learn something from you. Like if I'm going to Twitter, like obviously I'm going to follow people like who I like every time I log into the app, like I learn something from this. Sometimes I just get tweets from like people like I don't know why Twitter like aims them at me, like it's no value, no point, like it's just completely irrelevant. Like one follower of the person when I go in and stuff. So I guess like Twitter tries to play that. But yeah, I was glad that I found your tweets on Twitter. So and here we are. Yeah, and now I'm here. Privilege. Yeah, I have a privilege of like having a call with him, interview with him actually. But universities. How valuable do you think it is for entrepreneurs? I mean, and you know, like how valuable is it for entrepreneurs like you?
Low key, like I feel like everyone on Twitter is like, oh, fuck universities, but not. Like, I feel like it's very valid. Like, the classes are pretty useless, but it's more like you're living, for most people, like, you're living away from home for the first time. You're living with roommates. You have to make friends. You join a frat or sorority or clubs or friend. Like, you make friend groups, and, like, you make some really good friendships, good memories, good experiences. So it's all the shit outside of the classroom. But even people that you meet from classes are valid. So I think you definitely should go. It's probably overpriced for like what you get. But also like, even if you want to be an entrepreneur, like it might not happen when you're 18. It might not happen when you're 25. It might not happen when you're 35. So like, you should still go. Like, I think if you go to university, you make like twice. If you don't, like, you can actually get a job, especially if you're doing business or some shit, like study finance, you'll get a job. So it's like a good backup. If you want to burn the boats, I know some dude that was like, had no business. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make it work. Quit, and then in 6 months he was making money. But also you don't hear about the people who do that and then they're working at McDonald's. So like it's high risk, however what. I would say like definitely go. And
I think like university is like really good for like two things. Like obviously for like really skilled like jobs, something that like require more than just like a crash course. So like I guess like some engineers, like software engineers, at least like especially for people like that are like not trying to be entrepreneurs, like I think it's really important for engineers. But also like I was thinking of like the network, as you said, like if you join a fraternity, if you join some clubs, and like just the people you meet. I think because it's the last time, like obviously in high school you meet a lot of people, but I think like in college is the last time where you meet so many people like in a community. And like I think like Launch House is trying to like very similar to that, but I think like college is the last time where you actually meet people. But I'm just like curious about your take on like entrepreneurship classes in specific in university.
Oh, they're so ass. My entrepreneurship professor has never started.
Do you think like how would you change it if you were like if you were asked to
like actually be hands-on? Actually either be like case studies with like the person who's actually ran a company, or like having people do like working in a startup or starting their own company and like doing shit like that versus like the principles of entrepreneurship is like kind of BS. There are some schools that do it well, like Stanford's is crazy, but that's because they have like crazy VCs, like the founders of fucking Airbnb. Like,
I think it's also like just like the people that are just attending that are just like not like just smart, like driven. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, and they have a shit ton of alumni.
Again, I think it's a network again. Like it's not probably the classes that they're going. Yeah, it's who you know and who they interact with and who they meet. Like they're like equally driven and stuff. So like, yeah. Interesting take.
What do you think, bro?
Me, I think, as I told you, I think like it's really good for like, if like obviously it might be limiting and like a kind of like a hindrance for a founder that kind of wants to really get started. But I think it's like someone was telling me today, like I was talking to him about something similar, and he was like telling me like, well, universities can help you like finding out like what you don't want to do, at least for the rest of your life. Because like, bro, 4 years, like you're 18, like especially for like international or something, like you're 18 and you're supposed to decide like you have to choose a major, struggle for it for 4 years, or like, well, not struggle or whatever, do it for 4 years, spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you have to like expect it to work. And it's like, it just seems like kind of like a too much of almost a scam. But like, at least I think university is like the last place where you'll, as I said, like find like people like in your community and people who you might be interested, like a lot of co-founders, like especially if you go to like, you know, NYU, or to University of Washington, UCL, like all these big universities, like you meet like 30-40K people, like you're gonna find someone like you click with, someone who could potentially.
Then low-key like no entrepreneurs at NYU though.
NYU, really? So
there, I met like one other dude, and he dropped out.
Yeah.
And then he lived at a WeWork.
In UW, like I think most of the people end up working at Amazon and Microsoft, but you know, software engineers. But at least you'll find some employees for you.
Maybe. I tried to hire mad like of my friends for interns and shit. Yeah. Had to fire all of them. It just did not work out. It was like we don't hate each other. It was fine, but like I don't know. They just didn't want to do the work for it. It was also like really shit work. So like.
Did you make them go through any recruitment process, or you just like, oh, you're my whole?
I like had the whole interview, resume shit, but I was always gonna hire them. Like it was fine.
Is that like, have you been firing a lot of people like in your company, or?
It's like hire quickly, fire quickly.
Yeah.
It's like I hired like 20 people in like a month, and then I fired 20 people in a month.
Okay.
It's just like, as long as you do it respectfully, you're like, it doesn't work out, nothing against you. Like, I think most people understand.
But also, like, I think, like you said, you don't have much of a core team, right? Except for you. So it's kind of like easier maybe for you to fire people because you don't have like that, like really like a strong connection with them. If you're like having someone you're working with every day and then you have to fire them, it's probably harder, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're contractors, but I do work with them every day.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not like full-time employees. Yeah. I don't have like a fucking rigorous process for interviews, and it's not like a LinkedIn post. Yeah. It's like some dude on Twitter DMs me and I'm like, oh, do you want to work on this? And I'm like, oh yeah. And then we kind of just go from there. Like it's super low key.
Do you fire someone like who's older to you, or like just feels disrespected because you've like fired them?
I mean, most of the people I work with are like similar age, like 18, 24, 20s. Yeah. So I've definitely fired people who are older than me. Yeah. But like I'm not working with any like 45-year-olds. Yeah.
So obviously now you're young and the company's going to grow, right? Like a few years down the line, I don't know if you like would still be working Rise, but do you think you're going to continue being the CEO and like train yourself to be that? Or do you think you might switch up to a different company and, you know, maybe like you enjoy building from ground up more than just being like an executive in a corporate company?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can go pretty far before it's like a very like corporate. Yeah. Like there's even companies that are like billions of dollars that still aren't. So I definitely see like sticking with this at least for a couple more years. Yeah. Although there's a bunch of other opportunities, like I think crypto will be sick. Any Web3 stuff, fintech stuff, building a SaaS for e-commerce, like Shopify apps, go crazy. Yeah. But I really want to focus on Rise, like not do 15 different companies. Like so many people I know, they do like $10,000 a month companies. Yeah. You have one that does like 250K. Yeah. Like that makes way more sense to me. Yeah. So just do Rise, build that shit up. Hopefully we get to like $1 million a month or something, and then try and sell that. Yeah. And then maybe work on SaaS, crypto, something else, or maybe another e-commerce. I don't know. Okay. But like that's the current plan. I'll definitely have to hire people to like replace myself as we're scaling up, though.
Yeah. What are you most excited about in the future? Not just specifically for a business, but in general, like.
Definitely living in Austin.
Okay.
I'm kind of sad that I'm leaving Launch House, but. Living with two of my boys, and there's like a bunch of other e-commerce people that all live around there. So like meet a bunch of people.
So it's like Launch House for e-commerce.
It's like 15 dudes that I've talked with so many times, and I've never seen. I don't even know what they look like in some cases. I've never like talked to them in person, and now we're like all gonna be like hanging out, going out, working together. Like that's gonna be mad fun. And there's also like 2 conferences in Portugal in November. So I'm going with like a bunch of people here, and we're probably gonna stay in Portugal for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just like sick, like traveling different places, meeting a bunch of people, and like that's literally all from Twitter.
Yeah.
If I never joined Twitter, none of the Austin shit would happen. I wouldn't be in Launch House. Like,
So are you moving to Austin from New York, or?
yeah, my lease is gonna end, so I'm just gonna be in Austin for a month, and then I don't know where I'm going after.
But why Austin?
I want to go Miami. My boys had lived there before, so they're like, "Oh, we should go to Austin." A lot of e-commerce people, startup.
So you're gonna like start like your office in Austin and stuff, or like?
No, it's just an Airbnb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just work from home.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need an office.
Yeah.
Like there's this dude on Twitter. He was doing like 10 million a year, and he had one full-time employee, and he was doing it from his bedroom. Like you don't need an office. Like everyone's remote, Zoom calls. Like you don't need full-time employees. You can do contractors. Like I'm trying to resist the shit. Like it'll make you feel like you're a real company, but it's like you don't need it.
Yeah.
Like cut the expenses. We gotta be lean.
Yeah. Lean as fuck.
The lean startup methodology.
Have you read the book?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's like I think that was one of the first books like I read about startups and like.
It's good because it changes with the idea. So like it's like make an MVP, talk to customers, like not like a whole.
Does that apply to like e-commerce websites like you as well? Is that?
Do like the minimum shit. Yeah. With e-com, it's a higher barrier because you need a product. But like, I made the first website. We had like we didn't even have a G Suite thing. We had a basic email. We didn't have an LLC. Like we barely knew what we were doing. It was like one page on Shopify. Yeah. It was like terrible, but it just worked. It's like you need all these trappings and pay a lot of money. Yeah. Now the product had to be good enough, which is the hard part. But even that, you can MVP it with like a render, like the shit we're.
Yeah, exactly. And you did it as well, right? Going to like in person and like doing like validating the product and like knowing that it's valid.
So Eric Reese is low-key go.
Yeah, shout out Eric Reese.
Shout out Eric Reese.
Big boy Eric. All right, like kind of like switching away from like kind of like, well, if the answer is entrepreneurship, then we're still in the topic. But when do you feel you're the happiest?
Although when I'm just vibing with my homies.
With your homies? Or is it not like shit. When you're like...
Sometimes talking about business, but like not like when I'm grinding like fucking emails. Yeah. But like some interesting ass conversations like late at night about
like business. This one.
Yeah, like this one, bro. It's fucking 2 a.m. or some shit. Yeah. So like staying up with people, like we were like whipping in like the hills tonight. That was mad fun. Yeah. Like just like smoking with people, like just hanging out. Especially if they're like vibe, they're chill, but also like mad interesting, like running their own business, doing cool shit. Like, I love that.
Because I think like it's really like kind of like common right now. Like I've been seeing a lot of like, especially like YouTubers vlog and stuff, like especially that live around the LA area, talk about like how like there was like a period in their life like for 3-4 years where they did not go out at all. Like, you know, they were like, they didn't see a girl, like they were just like grinding and like that. Like I was literally been seeing people like talk about this and like it's like they haven't been going out, like they're having fun, just like staying in the night and like staying in like Friday night, Saturday night, just kind of like thinking about the idea because they don't want to like miss any opportunity of like creating content or like working in the business. Like, but like I don't think that's like sustainable. Like how important do you think is like the time with your homies and you know the vibes and
like do you know Iman Gadzi?
Yeah.
You know like monk mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically do like monk mode type shit.
Okay.
Like the months that I've been here, I haven't done like any work because I'm just like hanging out with people, like getting fucked up and stuff. Yeah. But then like when I go to Austin, I'm probably gonna like grind. Yeah. And just,
so it's kind of like a refresh, like kind of like reset button.
You can't do like 12+ hour days like for a while, but you can do it for like a month. Yeah. And like you do need those. Yeah. So like I think the first year I was definitely doing it much more. Yeah. I was still going out on the weekends. I was still like hang out, but it was like definitely sacrificing shit. Yeah. Now it's a little bit more developed, so I can do this shit for a couple weeks. I don't do much, but then like I can already feel like Rise isn't growing as much as I want it to. We're a little behind. It's not rising as much. Stop fucking rising. So there's so much shit I want to do. So I'm like, yo, I just need to grind. Yeah. Like literally sit at the desk for fucking 12 hours every day for a couple weeks and like get this shit done.
But you also like probably get brain dead at one point, right? Like it's not like
that's why you can only do it for like a couple weeks, a month. Yeah. Or people do it like just like 5 days. They go out on the weekend. Although I like it better where it's more long term. Yeah. Because then you're like really fucking locked in. Yeah. Versus if you only grind like 3-4 days and then you're going out, like it's too much like switching. Yeah. But yeah, you like the people who say they grind 16 hours a day every day for like a year are like fucking lying. Like, no, you're not, bro. Yeah. You're definitely stopping. Like I was certain that at some times, but it would be like I would grind for 3 weeks, burn out, and then like come back like 2 weeks later.
Do you think it's true? Like you could love like at one point reach a point where you like kind of hate what you're doing, like this entrepreneurship business. That you just like one day you're just like fuck, like I don't really like it as much. Like this is it's kind of boring, it's repetitive, and like, because there's gonna be a time when you're just like growing and you must be like, fuck, like you're like, how old are you? Like 22? That's like super young,
Are we the same age?
Yeah, I think. Like, but I think.
Oh, you just turned 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, March.
May, but
Yeah.
but
So we're the same age.
yeah, exactly. So like I feel the thing as well. I feel like, damn, it's like, what if like a few years down the line, like like even if I like, I mean, for me, I don't have a business right now, but you do, and there might be a point where you're just like, damn, like I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, you think
This podcast could be a business.
Yeah, this maybe.
We sell some ads, bro.
See. I'm the biggest man here now, so it's like, come on.
No, low-key, like the CPMs. If you do YouTube shit,
I'm
so like $50 CPMs, like you make some
like,
bread.
So right now, I'm just like focusing on like Spotify and TikTok. Like I started uploading on TikTok because I think like that's super
YouTube
cool.
Shorts.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I need to
Shorts
start
kinda
like
kill, bro.
uploading on YouTube Shorts as well. I just feel like it's hard for, like to get recognized in YouTube, like through just YouTube, And I think it's similar with Spotify as well. So that's why I think TikTok is the easiest way to get like.
No, YouTube Shorts
found.
has like TikTok like virality.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
So
like you can go
if
from like
people,
0 to
really
like 10,000
do people
subscribers
really,
like pretty
scroll
quick.
on YouTube, like just like.
Yep, it's literally
Okay.
TikTok. IG Reels kind of sucks, at least for
Okay.
me. But like
Okay.
YouTube Shorts, I definitely. If you're gonna do TikTok, actually, just if you're gonna do TikTok, do IG Reels and YouTube Shorts.
I wanted to upload on Instagram by doing like Instagram marketing. I think that was like the way I was thinking of doing it. But I didn't want to like post it consistently. I just kind of want to like post a few videos like with good clips maybe from like this video or whatever.
Every time you post
Yeah.
on TikTok, post the same video on IG and
Instagram.
YouTube
Okay.
Shorts. You don't need to make it official.
Yeah.
Just literally have a fucking bio.
Yeah.
And like maybe a link to Spotify,
Yeah.
and then if it doesn't grow, who
Yeah.
cares? Like no one saw it. So
Sure.
like YouTube Shorts,
Yeah.
we took from like 0 to 10K in like 2 months. It's
Okay.
like 10,000 people would be pretty
YouTube
good
Shorts.
if they're like watching the podcast.
Yeah.
You just do clips.
Yeah.
So you edit it once.
Yeah.
Do like and also like
It's like the Gary Vee method. He's always like, take this video.
No,
and
but
then, like,
actually you should,
yeah.
bro. You
Yeah.
probably will get like 20 clips.
Yeah.
You probably get like 10 to
at
20
least,
TikToks.
10 to 20 clips. Yeah.
And then like you repost it on all your shit.
Yeah.
And it works.
The one I did was like a few weeks back. Like it was like about an hour-ish as well. I took like 5 clips from it and did it. But I should probably like work harder and do 10, 20 clips and upload it on different. I
And
only
do
upload
like
on
the little
TikTok.
bottom text with the
Oh,
like
no.
every time I speak, it like has the.
I think
different
like I should. So
text
right
on
now
it.
I just like put it like a caption, put it because I'm like so I never use
Like the meme, like
TikTok,
crying,
yeah.
laughing emoji.
Yeah, like I need to like I need to like now we're laughing, it just shows the laughing emoji.
Yeah.
I
The
think like I
top
should
text,
learn to
bottom
like I
text.
never like uploaded TikTok until like today was the first time. Instagram I got rid of the app, but I'm gonna download it again just for like this thing, just for like
The business,
content
bro.
purposes. Yeah, podcast purposes.
No, that's the issue, bro. If your entire business, because
Yeah.
we only do
Yeah.
TikTok, YouTube,
Yeah.
and IG.
yeah.
So I'm
be
like, I
engaged.
have to fucking go
Yeah.
on TikTok every day.
Yeah.
And then you get lost in it and you're like,
Are you
screw
like
this.
trying to keep up with like the trends and that stuff as
Yeah,
well? Like,
that's why we have to do it.
yeah. So you spend like a few hours every day.
It's like I'm fucking
researching that.
addicted to Twitter.
Yeah. But you have to. That's part of
Yeah.
your job, right?
Yeah, but I love Twitter.
Yeah.
So like you kind of have to. Unless you want to get like you could just get a VA.
Yeah.
You could only do TikTok and then get a VA for YouTube and IG.
Okay.
So then you don't even have to have those.
Okay.
You just have to check that they're like doing their job.
Yeah.
But Gary Vee isn't like sometimes he's right.
Yeah. So
It's not always wrong.
Yeah, he's not. I think he's like right about a lot of stuff. I just think like he's a bit too like maybe a bit too optimistic for a lot of people. Like somebody's like, "How old are you? 55? Oh, you got so much. How old are you? 90? Bro, you got like 20 more years in your life." Like I feel like
Yeah.
those things are kind of like overdone sometimes because like you just ask people like, "Oh, how old are you?" and someone's like, "Oh, 16." He's like, "Oh, you got so much time." But like in general, like I respect him. If he's listening to this, I'm pretty sure he is because like it's like the greatest podcast ever. But
yeah, Gary Vee's definitely listening.
yeah, so Gary Vee, like if you're trying to come on,
shout out.
like we can
The
have
Sigma
a quick talk.
grind set.
Yeah, I'm manifesting this one day, like Gary Vee comes on. But I think he's right a lot of stuff, and this is definitely true. Like, and it makes sense, right? Like we're having this like more than an hour of content. Like, why not just break it down into the 10, 20 segments and upload it like
Yeah.
in YouTube and TikTok?
Depends. I mean, do you want to make this podcast like a business?
I
Or
want
do you want to make like a completely separate thing?
I want this podcast to be really big and be really good, and people find value in it. Do I want it to be like my only business? No. Do I want it to be a business? Sure. Yeah. But I don't want it to be my only business. Like, I want to like, in the end, I want to like build something. I want to build a product. I want to like build something and like have like users like use it, And I guess like, well, podcast is in a way like, because I'm building content and people are going to use it and listen to it. So it's sort of like a service. But I think like my end goal would be to like kind of still have my own like a different business that's not just podcast.
Yeah.
But I see podcast as something that I'll do for like years. Like even if I have a job or if I'm starting a business, like it's just something like I'd like definitely like reach out to cool people as my network grows and be like once or twice a week, like, hey, you want to have a talk? Let's just talk. Like, you know, it's for me just having a conversation with someone. I find inspiration, in this case, you, and I'm learning from you as well, and might as well just upload it online as well, you know. Like,
might as well record all your conversations.
Huh? No, like
and monetize them.
Like, no, that's what I mean. Like, with consent, obviously. With consent, obviously. Yeah, obviously.
No, but look, if you do start a business, like the podcast will be sick because you'll have met people in basically every industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like you want to do e-commerce.
Yeah.
I'll definitely help you out. You want to do whatever the fucking any other person has done.
Yeah.
You like know all the people who have done.
Exactly.
Shit.
Yeah.
So it's crazy network.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was asking, I think we swayed away that, do you think like you'll ever reach a point where you might be exhausted of like burnt out? Or?
Oh yeah, there's definitely times where I hate Rise. I hate working on it.
Yeah.
But it's usually temporary.
Yeah.
It's also more so like I get frustrated with like certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
Especially shit that's like out of your control.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I doing this bullshit?
Yeah.
But like that's just part of the game.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna the love what you do thing is kind of bullshit. Like it's still work, it's still a grind. Like you don't love it every time.
Exactly. You're not gonna love it every single day. Like.
Yeah, no, that's cap. So like there are times where I do. It's more like I get like the fulfillment and I love like the long term. But it's not like every day I'm fucking waking up like smiling. Yeah. Like, nah. You can still hate it sometimes. But yeah, in terms of like long term hating it, maybe I'd probably sell it at that point and work on something else. Yeah. Hopefully I'm getting it to the point where like if I do hate it, it'll be worth something. Yeah. So then I can. Because this is not gonna be like my life's work.
Yeah. I mean, it's like playing a match, right? Like, or like sport. Like you might hate a few matches, but you still love the game. So like if you do end up like not like being that passionate about Rise anymore, you might still like start something else and like still be involved in the game.
Yeah,
and, you know, just play
serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, serial entrepreneur type shit.
Exactly.
So obviously it's too early, but like in your life, I mean, not in time. It's pretty late, 2 a.m. But you know, 2 a.m. is when the boys bring out their feelings and talk about stuff. So what do you envision your future to be, and like what do you want your legacy to be remembered as?
I really like Alex Hormozy. You know Alex Hormozy?
No, who's he?
Oh, you should watch Alex Hormozy.
Okay.
He's kind of a goat. But he has a good take on legacy, which is like his grandpa or like his fucking great-great-grandpa was like the sheik of Iran or some shit.
Yeah.
So the dude was literally the leader of a country. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 generations later, he doesn't even know his name. Yeah. And then it's also like, how diluted are your genes? Yeah. If you go down enough, like, how related to my fucking great-great-great-grandfather am I really? And how much more related is like you or I if you just go down like enough. Yeah. So it's like, what is the legacy really worth? I think it's more so like what you're actually doing while you're here, less so of like how you want to be remembered. Yeah. And also I'll be dead at that point. Yeah. So like, who gives a fuck? Yeah. But I just want to do like cool shit while I'm alive. Yeah. Like I think that's more important to me.
You think you have like a specific purpose here?
Just like build stuff. Yeah. Like businesses, friendships, experiences, relationships. Like we were born to build. Yeah. And live like in the moment. A16Z. Yeah, A16Z. It's like it's time to build. It's
time to build.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
I remember that article.
Builders Build. Yeah. Also a good podcast.
Yeah, Builders Build. Okay. Not as good as the Schmeat Singh podcast, but I'm guessing.
It's number 2.
Yeah. No, it's close. Okay. Yeah. It's really close. Builders Build. Yeah. I'll check it out. Obviously.
What do you think your purpose is?
What do you think? What I think my purpose? That's a pretty good question. I think
you came up with it. So.
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is because I'm not sure if I know the answer to it, and it's like I want to believe that I do have a purpose because I feel like a life having like with no purpose is like really depressing, and that like scares me. I feel like even if I don't have a purpose, like I just wish like I just get like a purpose. I guess like I don't know if I'm born with a purpose, but I think definitely like my purpose would like I really like I don't know, I like seeing like people happy and like, you know, just like content in life, right? And I think like if I find a way to like somehow like bring that like to people, like I don't know, I think that would be it. And then like really caring and like I like just everyone happy and like my family and everyone just like, you know, like being happy. Like I feel like being happy in the present, like not having to worry about stuff. I think like right now like everyone and if you feel this, I feel like a lot of people like thinking about like, oh, like if I do this I'm going to achieve and be happy and stuff. I just wish like my purpose to help people like realize that like you can be happy now.
Yeah, because a lot of people think like when I do this, then I'll be happy.
I feel like I've been in that like, and I always think like, damn, like it's not really like I don't really feel anything different. Like I always have these expectations, you know, that mean like expectation reality. I always had an expectation like once this happens, like damn, I'm going to be like, but like it's really like once that thing happens, you're just like okay, like, you know, like I was like fuck, like I wish I just enjoyed the moment then. you start waiting for this moment to happen because it's very anticlimactic once that actually happens. It's just like, okay, like whatever.
It's an infinite cycle though.
Yeah, I guess like unless like you have like your company like IPO'd and you're on NASDAQ and ringing the bell, like I'm sure like you're gonna jump and join then, but like
yeah, but then like a month later you'll probably
exactly.
be like, oh,
So I
it's
think
normal now.
Yeah, I just hope I have a purpose and I find it real quick because like I think a life without purpose is really depressing. But
maybe the purpose is to like try and find
find a purpose, yeah.
or there could be nothing.
Or there could be nothing.
You just be nihilistic and like fuck it.
Yeah, maybe like
is there real like we're kind of just beings wandering
what
through
if you're in a
space?
simulation and like
Or that.
and we're living someone else's purpose.
Do you ever think of yourself as a video game character?
Yeah, maybe like I'm just like this whole conversation that we had is someone else's purpose that they wanted to listen to us how we just talking.
Have you seen Rick and Morty?
I watched the first few episodes, but I like stopped watching.
There's an episode where like Morty like lives as like a boy and then he grows up as a man.
Yeah.
He gets a wife and kids and then he dies, and then when he dies he comes out and he realizes he was playing a video game with someone else's life.
Damn.
So like someone could just be playing me. Like I could be like fucking Franklin in GTA right now. And some dude's just on their Xbox.
I mean that's kind of like sad, but also that's kind of like exciting.
Yeah, but then you could also think like, what is your soul or higher consciousness, and that could be the person controlling it.
Yeah.
So my body is just a vessel for whatever higher level needs.
Yeah.
So then if you think about that, you get abstracted away from your emotions.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't care what Franklin does in GTA. I care about me.
Yeah.
So then it's more like stoic and all that bullshit. But then you're like not so caught up in the day-to-day little things. Like nothing really matters.
I think you have to like train your body to really think that, right? Like we're having this conversation, we like, but I feel like we won't be thinking about it much like in a few minutes after we're done.
No, I did it for like a month.
Oh, really?
And then I kind of stopped doing it because I just.
How do you train your body
to like self-control?
How do you like?
Got it from this dude on Twitter. I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But he had like a bell that would randomly ring like every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't know how he fucking did it, but it would literally just go off and then he would remember to do it. And then he would get into the mindset and there was a bunch of shit that you did for that. I didn't want to make my phone like fucking ring all the time. So I didn't. So it would just be whenever I thought about it. Yeah. Basically.
And I think there are a lot of like stoic related books and stuff that kind of like talk about this.
A lot of books?
Yeah.
Like sci-fi?
No, just like, well, not exactly a simulation, but like, like just thinking that like separating yourself. Like,
what do you think is most likely? Everyone says like, oh, simulation theory, and it's like, okay, but like what
I don't
that you actually think?
I don't like know enough about simulation theory to like really like think about like, oh, like that shit exists. I just think like what we see is like what we have kind of thing. Like I don't think we're living in a simulation.
So it's just it's just whatever.
Just
whatever your eyes are telling you. It doesn't matter what's going on behind the scenes.
I think like no, I do believe in like this and high energy stuff, but I don't think like we're being like controlled in each of our movement. Like I think we have that freedom to do it.
So it's like a free will kind of thing.
Yeah, like I don't think like some sort of like an alien or someone's playing a game and they're like kind of controlling our steps.
Probably unlikely.
Yeah, that's what maybe that's what they want us to think. But.
It's probably some shit that we don't think about.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably just like nothing. I think that's the most likely answer.
Yeah. It's probably nothing. Or probably that's what they want us to think, that it's probably nothing.
But that's more convoluted. I mean, like, generally it's like Occam's razor or some shit. It's like whatever, or maybe some other day. But it's like whatever's the most simplest answer or solution probably is. Yeah. It's usually not some fucking convoluted mindfuck. Yeah. So in this case, it's probably just like, we're just people. Yeah. Talking to each other in a room. We're just people making the next biggest podcast, talking to the next billionaire. Yep. And yes, sir, baby. Yeah, I think our battery's almost over, so we might have to like wrap it up soon. Yeah, like an hour. Yeah, plus. It's been an hour. Thought we were going to 2, bro. We could have gone to 2, but we have like my phone's literally actually about to die. But yeah, we have like about 1 and 2. But I think like we covered like we talked a lot. Like I think it's like super interesting. Like I think like we learned a lot from you. A lot of great tips on e-commerce, starting up businesses at a young age, trying to balance everything out. You give me great advice on, like kind of like expanding my TikTok and stuff. So any last words or wisdom? I learned a lot from you too, brother. Really? Yeah. Then what did and you'll be very successful in the future. Yeah, that means like, a lot. Low-key, the podcast is like a networking hack. Yeah. Just like, how do you get people to actually talk to you? Yeah. If you DM them and be like, can I get a minute of your time? Versus if you're like, oh, I have a podcast. Now it's like all those people where they're like, yo, how do you give value? Yeah. Well, you're giving value because you have like a podcast they can go on. Right. I think, that's true.
I have been able to get a lot of like cool people like on like at least reply to me and like, you know, schedule like, okay, yeah, I'll be free like 3 weeks from now. But also like I've been getting a lot of like, or like, you know, how big is it, or like, who are you, or you're like, oh, you're 22, like you're 22, like like 22. Okay, so like I feel like, but you know, like that's fine. Like everyone has to eat shit, like you said as well. Even if it's a founder or like someone starting something new, you have to eat shit until you earn the credit or like the right to be able to like demand someone from something, you know. And like I'm at a point where like obviously like I'm getting started off, like I'll eat that shit. I'll face off like people who like I like wanted to talk to might not reply, but like, you know, it's the wins that like have people like you that reply and talk to me that
DM
matters to
more
me,
people.
So, yeah,
Like literally just
cold
fucking
DM, like,
spam thousands of people.
yeah,
Because like once you have the momentum, then it's
Yeah.
like they ask how big it is, and then or you hit them with the I have the podcast with 50,000 listeners or some shit, and then
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, oh, valid. Now
It's
you're
like,
really
oh,
providing value.
who's the famous guy? Bro, I've had Luca, bro. Like, oh shit, okay, I'm gonna come on the pod
Yeah.
now. So like, I think this is
Yes,
this kind
sir.
of like changes everything. So
This is the episode that changes everything.
it's the episode that changes everything for him and for me.
Yeah. Second podcast.
Second podcast. Now you're like kind of getting like experience and used to it and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I want to do more of this. It's kind of fun.
yeah.
I fuck
Maybe-
with podcasts.
Maybe you're like I actually like. No, I feel like we could like continue talking for hours because like it was like we were getting in a really deep zone towards the ending as well. Like super
Yeah.
exciting. But yeah, guys, that's it.
That's it. Goodbye.
This is the-
Time to listen to another podcast.
This was the Schmeeting podcast. If you have any feedbacks, you know, let me know. Yeah, like my socials, I'm on Twitter. Now I'm on TikTok as well, soon to be in YouTube and Instagram. And you know, yeah, if I've said anything that offended you guys, I'm sorry. But you live and you learn. And yeah, that's it. That's having you, boss.
If you want to find my shit, it's Luca Washenko on Twitter. Join the collective. It's very cheap, and we make you more money than you pay us. LucaWashenko on Twitter.
Go follow the man. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.